Hi, it's Romy. Welcome to the channel. I really appreciate you tuning in. This is the February reading for the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius, if you are sun, rising or moon, it's a general reading. It may resonate for you. If you're enjoying the work and you'd like to support me further, you can go ahead, purchase the extended reading. There's a link for that in the description box below. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram, and come over to my website romywyser.com, where you can see all of the readings and services that I offer, along with my membership group, which is via Patreon. Okay, Aquarius, let's go ahead. We'll see what February is bringing up. Okay, Aquarius, I'm opening up your reading with two cards today. The first is your guide card for the month ahead, and it's the card of Justice from the Major Arcana. And your second card is your gift for the month of February, and this is the card of Openness. I'm offering 2020 soul journey readings and Journey to Love, where we explore this idea of using a guide and a gift to help you navigate through the energies and influences. You can find more details on my website for those. But as we look ahead to this month, and with the card of Justice, what we are seeing is you standing in a position in this solar returns period of time for you, where you almost have deployed a new code of conduct for yourself. What I'm seeing coming forth really powerfully with this energy is an integrity and a fairness and a justness, where you are prepared to do what's necessary to make those adjustments in your life and within yourself. And I think first and foremost, we are starting from that internal emotional landscape, Aquarius. The card of the card of Justice is connected to the sign of Libra, a fellow air sign. And so, so much of what is happening as we move through this month of February is about the changes and the shifts that are taking place in your mental thought forms, Aquarius. And I see you being far more diplomatic with yourself, right? This is a guide card that is helping you to be more fair in your judgment, be more fair in your critique, be more fair about actually things not being perhaps as bad as what you perceive them to be in different areas, or perhaps where you can look at a situation from a more balanced perspective, and that's going to help you. We have this sense of equanimity, I feel, coming forward really powerfully. Of course, the card of Justice is also bringing in almost like an element of kind of karmic influence to it, where I feel that there are many situations that you're going to start to see providing resolutions for you. Now, the key to being able to find those resolutions, right, is hidden here in this gift card, because it's one of openness. We have to make sure that our energy is in that receptive mode, so that we are able to see where the new pathways are opening up, where we are able to see new solutions. And of all the signs, you have that capability to rise above and go beyond and become incredibly visionary in your thinking and your ideas. And perhaps for some of you, having moved through so much of this 12th house as Capricorn energy, and that Pluto and Saturn conjunction really pushed you into perhaps some uncomfortable places within yourself and in your life, you perhaps have closed down your energy somewhat. So what the guides for me are beginning this reading with really powerfully is saying, we have a map here, the constellations are showing us a way forward, and this is about the illumination that's coming through for you, but you have to be fully open to be able to hear it. And then you have to be very magnanimous when you are receiving that information, because perhaps there's things that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear, and they're all set to help you on the journey as we move through this month of February. Okay, so let's go ahead, begin with your main card spread, see what's coming through for you. The 3rd of February sees Mercury moving into the sign of Pisces, so it's into your 2nd house, Aquarius. So really a time for you to start communicating a new level of value that you're attaching to yourself. And I think this is the period of the year where you get to shed, you get to let go of so much of that old identity and step out with a different perspective, reinvent yourself, and then communicate that to the world. Now, we begin your reading with 2 of Swords, so perhaps there's still some indecision and some conflict that's coming up for you. Choices to be made, and again, I think that card of Justice is absolutely talking about the fact that you are going to be weighing up some options as we move through February, Aquarius. the key thing is that, first of all, we need to get our internal emotional landscape in alignment before we start trying to look at anybody else or look at anything external. You know, she has her blindfold on, and there's the link to the crescent moon and this moon in your openness card. So this is about your deeper intuitive senses really needing to take the reins to help guide you in terms of what comes next. And for some of you, it may feel like life has really shifted on its axis. You know, we're into very different vibrational energy in 2020. We're still all feeling and sensing our way forward. That beautiful new moon that we had at the end of January will have given you that burst of recharge, but at the same time there was a real anxiousness around that energy. So I think many of you will still be trying to kind of figure out perhaps how you can start implementing some of those adjustments or those choices and decisions that you know you need to make, right? So Hanged Man energy coming through, and perhaps again you're feeling slightly uncertain about which step to make next. And I think here's where the important message comes through, okay? Because if we stay in this energy too long, and perhaps for some of you this is the comfortable place to be, because it might be a little bit of bunny in the headlights, right? I know I can't go back because what was before no longer exists, and that could be, you know, the safe, comfortable, internal safe haven that you built for yourself, or it could represent something external in your world, you know, a situation that has ended or come to a point of conclusion. And you're not quite clear about what the future yet looks like or holds for you. In fact, you're still trying to figure out who you are in this new energy landscape. And so what is the easiest thing to do? It is really to move into a state of, I'm not going to call it avoidance or denial, but just like a pause. It's like you just need that moment to weigh things up. You know, that card of Justice is bringing in a timing element for you. And perhaps sometimes we need to have that kind of enforced sense of self-sacrifice so that we can properly tune in to what we know is going to be right for us. If you have situations that you feel are not moving and you're yet to see any evidence of real shift and change, give it time, Aquarius, because I feel that you are going to make the breakthrough in this month of February. What is interesting is we have Mercury retrograde coming in on the 17th. Now it starts retrograde in Pisces until the 4th of March and then moves back into your sign from the 4th to the 9th. And we're going to be in shadow right from the 2nd of the month. So I can understand perhaps where that Hanged Man energy is coming in as a nod to some of the energies that the retrograde is going to bring up for you, because it's almost like, you know, having to revisit or things still feeling a little hazy or a little confused. But really what this is wanting to show you is that in your openness, in your willingness to actually allow yourself to surrender to whatever process is unfolding for you, that's the key that's going to allow you the momentum and the energy and the initiative to then be able to take something forward. So remember, the card of Justice is actually linked to Libra, which is a cardinal energy, and then we have this very cardinal fire energy coming through with the Knight of Wands. So I do feel that you are going to gain your footing and you are going to be feeling that sense of like, okay, now I'm ready to move forward after this moment, this sort of time lapse, if you like. It could be that you feel a slight period of slow-mo taking place through the month of February at some moment, but actually I think that when we come in, particularly to that full moon energy on the 9th, right, it's going to be in Leo. There's a beautiful trine with Mars, so it's giving us a boldness and a courage and a sense of energy, very reminiscent and linked to this beautiful Knight of Wands, to actually help you overcome any fear, any doubt, any uncertainty, and to just go for it. It's in your 7th house of partnerships, so for some of you this could be really showing up in relationships in your life, you know, where you're ready to either break free or to really power forward or take something to the next level. You could of course be dealing with a fire sign energy with this Knight of Wands, and if you are, maybe you have felt really undecided, or that something has been left in limbo, or you know, there's no closure, or there's no sense of certainty or clarity. If that is the case, remember again, your guide and your gift is giving you that sense of patience, to be open to how the universe is going to bring in some changes to this situation. I don't feel like you need to force or do anything. This is going to unfold quickly and naturally if you allow it the opportunity to do so. Absolutely. The card of the Chariot, everything is going to start moving again. So take the time that you need to sit in that energy, because what the guides are saying is that there's something that you need to hear. There's something that you need to learn in that moment of just allowing yourself to go in, internally. And remember, Jupiter's still moving through Capricorn. We've still got a lot of planets in Capricorn that are activating that 12th house for you. Very challenging placement to be able to really dive deep into that subconscious part of us, but also really helping us to secure a stronger connection into our higher self and into our spiritual self. And that's so important as we move into this much higher vibrational energy in 2020. But the Chariot card coming through for me, really saying that you are going to be back in the driver's seat. You're going to be back feeling like you've got some sense of direction, even if it feels a little bit chaotic. So it's like, once we do get moving, Knight of Wands, Chariot, they're a bit blazing, right? They're not coming in with a cool, calm, methodical approach. So it almost feels like you could have a bit of a flip-flop moment where, 1 second you feel completely stuck and slightly shackled in energy or in your thinking, and then all of a sudden there's like an internal shift, an adjustment, an epiphany, or an external situation that arises, and then you have to start moving, and you move really quickly. But I think you'll be ready for that. I have a sense that you're going to have that power of your solar returns just giving you that extra charge to help you. High Priestess energy coming through. So again, just the message being one of trust yourself. Okay, Hanged Man and High Priestess are asking you to check in with you, Aquarius. This isn't about anybody else knowing what's best for you right now. This is about you knowing what you have to change and what you want to prioritize to make the difference. And I think there is this bigger question mark, I think, that you have over some area of your life. Because what I'm feeling is that you're kind of saying, okay, then, I'm prepared to, follow my bliss, to be open, to be receptive, to go with my heart. But, I need some sense of validation here. I want to see where this is going. So I kind of have you moving forward and then taking the plunge, but also being very kind of aware of like looking to see where the universe is going to back you up with it, right? And this is where I have this almost kind of karmic quality coming in with justice to say, you know what, once you do make that decision, once you've weighed up the options and you come to the conclusion that I can't possibly stay where I've been, there's nothing there for me, I have to move forward, with or without you. And when I say with or without you, that could be a person, that could be a specific situation that hasn't been realized, a dream that you might have to put to the side or put on hold, but that, you still have to continue on the path. So once you do that, I feel that's when the universe starts to open up and really show you, 10 of Cups, that actually so much of what you are looking to bring in is just around the corner. Like, we have this opening up of beautiful emotional energy with the 10 of Cups, a sense of rising optimism, because I feel you've bet on yourself and you've really decided that, you know what, I don't want to stay where I've been anymore. I'm just ready for different. I'm ready for change. And I'm actually opening new doors now. That's what I feel. You're really putting yourself in, I'm going to say, uncomfortable positions, right? Because I feel, even in the surrender and the sacrifice, it's uncomfortable. We have Knight of Wands sometimes is charging forward. And if you're not ready to move forward, but you do anyway, that's uncomfortable. Chariot energy, it can be adventurous, but if you're still feeling a little bit uncertain, it can feel overwhelming. Okay, but remember, with that guidance of justice coming in, it's bringing the balance, it's bringing the alignment, it's bringing more of a secure energy underfoot for you. And 10 of Cups is saying that when you take that risk, it will pay off. So we have King of Swords coming through, could be yourself. as an air sign or a Gemini or a Libra that we're dealing with here. But I feel what he's bringing forward more than anything is just the confidence, the quiet confidence to just start the process and know that what you need is going to show up when you need it, and it's going to support you in a way that you will be able to start to implement all of the learning and the wisdom. And I also think, because for me, King of Swords is such an energy of wisdom, right? He embodies the absolute knowing of whatever he is an expert in that field or that area of life, or based on his experience. He doesn't miss anything. It's all about the detail. An amazing strategist, an amazing technician of things. So while we're in that Mercury retrograde period and you are almost doing a deep dive back into perhaps where you've been, or revisiting things or revisiting situations that have occurred, I feel that you're being shown the detail in a different way, and that actually he's also helping to show you how you can start to implement the wisdom and the learning that you've gained in the last few weeks and months, Aquarius. And this is where you're really going to start to see yourself differently. I actually have him stepping up quite unapologetic almost for what he believes in, where he's going, what he thinks, but he doesn't really need to shout about it. He's open and honest in his communication, incredibly direct. And I think that you're going to take that stance through this month of February with people, and I think that's okay. You need to be really clear about what matters and what you're looking for, and this is going to really help you as well to make decisions about whether you need to move away from certain situations or certain people, or draw new people in towards you. It's kind of like, if you are that clear-minded about what your priorities are, you can then look around your life in a new way and say, well, that clearly doesn't resonate or match up with what I say that I want. So it isn't in a harsh way, but I feel it's in a slightly more clinical way that you are going to be able to make those adjustments. And you know what? They are going to be fair. They're going to be fair, first and foremost, to you and what you need to be able to really start to power forward in this year. But I also think that people are going to understand where you're coming from. Okay, that's what I feel. Okay, card of Ten of Swords coming through, and I think that this is about the allowance that you are giving yourself to let go of what is not working, what hasn't worked, what has ended. And perhaps some of you didn't get the closure and you felt in limbo. Or there's information that's now come to light and allowed you to say, you know what, I'm actually done with this. I'm done with that way of thinking, done with that business idea, that dream, that relationship, that person, or I'm done with that way of how I've treated myself. So for me, powerful sense of closure that comes in for you, but incredibly liberating at the same time. Perhaps some of you may well be dealing with this King of Swords energy, male or female, in terms of how they're coming across, and there is an ending or a closure to a situation taking place. What I'm going to say though is anything that is leaving your life through this month of February, Aquarius, is creating space for this Ten of Cups energy to come in. So you have to trust the way that you are being guided and moved forward at the moment. The more open you can be, the more open you can keep that heart space and your mind, the more that karmic energy can come in to support you, okay? Okay, another card of closure and endings here with Death coming in. Could be a Scorpio energy as well that you're dealing with, but also I feel like there is a little bit of intensity that's happening here between this King of Swords, Ten of Swords and Death at the root of the reading here. So I think for some of you, you're still in the energy, and I think probably this Mercury retrograde is what is at the root cause of this, because it's going to cast up, it's going to throw up an awful lot of thoughts and feelings and emotions, particularly as it's in Pisces, and it is impacting on your sense of self-worth. Okay, it's impacting on how you've shown up in relationships, how you've been treated, and that could be from a remuneration perspective, from a financial, obviously we're impacting on the second house of finance as well, but it could be in relationships as well, as that full moon in Leo illuminates something to you about key people in your life. But again, this card of death is one of transformation. This is what we have to keep in mind, So actually what we see for you in the overall arc of this month of February, Aquarius, is a time for adjustment, rebalancing, so that you can be open to a new future and what that looks like for you. All these tens really signifying the ending of a cycle and the closing off. And of course this is about your brand new solar returns energy now. So what is it that you want this year to look like for you? What does it represent to you? And are you allowing yourself to honor the growth that you've been through? And I think that's it might sound straightforward, but if you actually take a moment to think about that, based on what you have been through in 2019 and how it has changed you, how are you now allowing those changes to be implemented and to take seed in your life? What are you doing differently as a result of what you have learned? Here's where I think the King of Swords is really going to help you, and that High Priestess energy. These are really powerful advisory energies. That's what I want to say. They're coming through very strong in that advisory capacity for you to really help you be bold and move forward, but take on board everything that you've learned and not let go of what that future vision, the hopes and dreams that you have and what it looks like. And okay, it may not have panned out in the way that you expected it to, but it doesn't mean that it's not still on its way. It just could be in a different form, a different person, a different business, a different location. The details can change, but overall the bigger picture is going to be the same. That's where they want you to have trust. Okay, so the card of patterns coming up here with your oracle card. So again, I think this is just the recognition that you're having through this month of February, Aquarius, about the way that you have engaged with yourself, how fair and just you have been towards yourself and toward the decisions and the choices and the way that you've responded on an emotional, on a spiritual level in your journey. Such a huge moment of awakening happening in February. The more open you can be to the universe showing you that, and listening to these advisory energies that are incoming. This is why I feel we need that kind of Two of Swords, where you're almost like holding yourself so that you can receive those downloads, recognize those patterns, so that you can really clear them out and make a powerful change. Really strong energy for you, Aquarius. Okay, 2 cards want to come out here. I'm going to take this one. Okay, what do you need to release? Waning Moon, of course. I think you know exactly what you need to release. I really do. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that you are completely crystal clear about that. I think perhaps knowing it and implementing it are two very different things, right? But this is where we can take an approach that's balanced and measured, and we don't have to do everything all at once, although I do have a sense that for some of you, once you really lock in to the understanding of what it is that you're going to change, I think then you're just going to be off and running, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen quite quickly. But yeah, take that time to consider what it means to you. Aquarius, thank you so much. I hope this has given you some insight into your month of February. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull some clarifying cards for the extended reading. If you would like to join me, it's a way to support my channel. You can find a link in the description box below, and we'll talk and go a little bit deeper into this conversation and pull out any more messages that Spirit have for us. So just clarifying the Two of Swords with the Ace of Cups. Okay, I think it's about where you're ready for that sense of renewal, matters of the heart particularly on your mind. 8 of Wands, because you're ready for this movement, aren't you? But perhaps you're just holding yourself back just for a minute. Maybe there's some lingering fear or uncertainty about the step that you want to make or the choice that you have. Queen of Pentacles coming in as well. Could be an earth sign, but I also just feel for some of you this could be work related. you know, focus in and around your business or your passion or what you're trying to achieve or do. Choice to make, a decision coming up for you. 4 of Pentacles with that Hanged Man. There is this sense of like kind of calling your energy in and wanting to be a little bit protective of it. I understand that. I think you need to right now till you just figure out what the next step looks like, where you want to invest yourself. 9 of Wands. Yeah. There's a perseverance and a persistence. Like you feel called towards it, but I think there is just some unsurety about it. King of Cups coming in with that Knight of Wands energy. Could be a water sign that we're dealing with, a Pisces, Cancerian or Scorpio. Have they been the one that has been a bit in and out or left you a bit uncertain or perhaps been slightly emotionally unavailable? Or has that been you? 7 of Swords coming through as well. So yeah, perhaps there's a feeling of you feeling like you don't quite have the truth of things. Don't worry, your High Priestess energy is absolutely bringing through what you need to know this month. Chariot card bringing through card of Death again. And 4 of Swords. Okay, High Priestess bringing in that 2 of Pentacles. You're getting a lot of card of choice, but also balance coming through in this reading, which I really like for you. 5 of Cups, okay. 8 of Cups, goodness, okay. Maybe some of you are just at an emotional low as you come to that place of like realizing what you have to let go, walk away or move away from. I think as well, 5 of Pentacles, you know, it could be some stuff around finances and money going on here as well, because I've got new paths opening up in this way, but perhaps there's a sense of loss that you're feeling. You know, it's almost like quite a grieving energy that comes through with this, and I always find during these eclipse seasons that there's such waves of souls that decide it's time to depart. So maybe some of you are really dealing with that on a very personal level right now if you've lost loved ones. And it's like knowing that you have to move forward and just trying to find the mental capacity and the inner strength to realize how you go about even doing that, right? Page of Swords, okay. Okay, King of Swords bringing through 6 of Wands. Yeah, I feel this real advisory energy from him is helping you to step out into your true self. You know, whether they show up in the physical or whether this is coming in from an energy perspective into your own conscious awareness. 4 of Wands. Celebration to come, actually. I think this is a moment of accomplishment coming, I feel, for you. Realizing that you've taken that step. Hermit energy coming through with 10 of Swords. 9 of Cups. Let's just pull a couple more here. For the Death card, we have Queen of Cups. 7 of Wands. So in the extended, we will delve into the relationship aspect a little bit more and what this means from a business, finance, career perspective. Knight of Cups here with patterns. Just to give you a little bit more detail. And we've got 8 of Swords coming in with what you need to release. Okay, Aquarius, thank you so much for joining me. Bright blessings for your solar returns. I really appreciate you tuning into the channel. If you've enjoyed it, please drop me a like and a comment. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out for next month. And I'll join you on the extended if you are going to meet me there. Thank you so much.